afternoon. Today we're talking about the unwelcome guest. Have you ever went somewhere and felt unwelcome? Have you ever went somewhere and someone asked you, how did you get in? You never know how that feels or what it feels like until someone asks you and make you feel unwelcome. And that's what I'm talking about today on Luke chapter 14, verse number 7. When we think about Jesus, we know Jesus is the one that should have been welcomed in 100%. But the Pharisees was always trying to trip him up. When we go back and you start at the beginning of Luke chapter 14, you find out that they invited Jesus to eat with them. You have people that would invite people to eat with them because they know that they can pay them back. Well, you can come eat with me because I know one day you're going to invite me to eat with you. Or because I'm in a high standard place and I can afford the meal, so I'm just gonna hang out with people that I can buy their meal and they can buy my meal. Like-minded people. But I like what it says when it came down to the guests, the unwelcome guests. There was a party going on, and yes, you want to be invited to the wedding. And what we find out at this wedding that people like to sit in important places. And that's when Jesus was telling him, people like to feel important, make me feel special, make me feel important. Say the right things, make me feel needed and wanted, and I'm with you. Well, people make you feel important if we heed to their signs. We can succeed in human relations. On the other hand, if we say or do things that make others feel insignificant, we will fail. Then people will respond by becoming angry and resentful. So when we say words, again, thinking, when we say words about people or things about people, they get angry and they get resentful. For instance, why would Jesus in Luke chapter 14, verse 7 through 31, and I'm not going to go through the whole verse, I'm just going to do a little bit, and I'm going to do these a little bit the whole week because it's very important. We invite people to our table, but when you get them to the table, you're getting them there because you want some information. That's what I'm saying. But here Jesus said there's a feast going on. You're bringing in all these high society people, and he even said this. He said, "Watch where you sit down. Don't be in such a big hurry to run to the front. It's best to be asked up than to be asked down. The most important people, they always going to run to the front. But if you sit at the back and you wait to be asked up, you know, as I was taught, it's better to be asked up than to be asked down. We're in society, sit back and just chill. Take a chill pill and just wait it out. Because in Luke chapter 14, verse 7 and through 11, it says, in Jesus' days as today, there were status symbols that help people enhance and protect their high standard in society. Well, in society, you got to look a certain way before I invite you to my table. In society, you got to dress a certain way before I invite you to my table. In society today, if you don't speak to me, I'm not going to speak to you. Who said that was right? If we are serving a true and mighty God, and we go back to Luke chapter 7, and I'm just at verse 11, just verses 1, just 7, 1 through 11. And I'm paraphrasing today because I just want us to get in and I want us to look at this. And I want us to know how Jesus said it's very important to take the low road. It's very important to just be asked up because it says if you sit in somebody's seat, there may tell you, you're going to get embarrassed because that's not your seat. Because there may be someone of higher stature than you that needs to be in that seat. But if you got the love of Jesus Christ in your heart, you don't have to push your way up because the Bible that I said in Luke chapter, that I read in Luke chapter 2, verse 52, it say God gave Jesus favor with men and with him. So God will give you status quo, even when you feel like people asking you, why are you here? Even when you feel like people asking you, what brought you? How did you get to sit here? Don't nobody know your struggles that you've gone through to get there. No one knows how many times you cried late at night because you tried to fit in and you couldn't fit in. But I just come by here to let you know, Jesus, hear your tears. I just come by here to let you know that only what you do for Christ will last. I just come here to say, take the low road. It's okay, because God is going to elevate you up. If he did it for his son in Luke chapter 2 and 52, God give you favor. God give you favor. He give you favor with men in high places. He give you favor with men in low places. He opened doors that no man can shut. So it's okay if you take the low road. Like I'm in this car, it's okay to take the low road, because there's nothing in my Bible saying that I have to be in a church house just to teach Bible study. If it's in you, it's going to come out. Whatever gift God has made for you, it's going to come out. Whether it's right or wrong, whatever, you just do you. You just do you. And then when I'm thinking about just doing you, one thing about a woman, we have compassion. We care, we nurture. But one thing I'm here to tell you, take the low road and watch God elevate you up. You know, because we have been practicing for these positions for a long time. We have been practicing on how to look like this and still succeed. We have been practicing on how to speak the correct language. For instance, I had someone tell me something. I say, anywho. What's an anywho? That they was trying to say anyhow, but they said we could say anywho. And I was like, ooh, I don't know what that means. But if we in society take the low road and watch God elevate us up, people are going to ask you this question: how did you get here? And on Sunday morning, I can't wait to Sunday morning, because my topic on Sunday morning is, how'd you get here? You didn't look like you're supposed to be in that position, but how did you get here? And as I take us through it, this whole Luke chapter 7, verses, Luke chapter 14, 7 to 31, we're going to see, how did we get here? Because one thing, when you get in this position, you should be wearing a smile, because guess what? When we find out, we'll see Jesus put us in this. When we find out, we'll see that it wasn't easy giving up the right for the wrong. When you find out that only what you do for Christ will last. Well, Bible study, Luke chapter 14, verses 7 through 31. And I just gave you a little bit of it today, because the thing I want you to do is go back and read. If you can just read Luke chapter 14, verses 7 through 31, when I get on here on tomorrow, you can talk to me and I can talk back. It's time for us to start talking. It's time for us to see, where do we really stand in that Bible? It's time for us to start breaking it down and realize that we are the favor. We got favor with Christ. We got favor. And it's time for us to stand on Luke chapter 2, verse 52, to realize that God is giving us favor in high places as well as low places.